iPads, right?
I'm going to call to order the Board of Education, Orland School District 135, special board meeting, Wednesday, August 21st, 2019, at 7 p.m. Jill, can you call the roll?
Dr. Berry.
Here.
Mr. Hodge.
Here.
Mr. Goulet.
Here.
Mr. Meritage.
Here.
Ms. Beckman-Dowd.
Here.
Ms. Shriver.
Here.
Mr. Shelby.
Here.
And shall we all rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have citizen remarks. Mr. Allen Messenger.
I just wanted to say I wanted to commend the board for holding this meeting. You're taking the job of hiring a new superintendent with seriousness and professionalism. I think that's to be commended. I am looking forward tonight to hearing about what efforts you're planning on making with engaging with the broader community, with parents, with teachers, with the building administration, to make sure that we get a district administration of the highest caliber. Thank you.
Thank you. Any board member reports and requests?
At this time, can we ask questions or can we add things for discussion? If I have a question about it, is that time I ask now? Can I-
This process, or
No, not this process.
you want something to be prepared for another meeting? When are you gonna-
Yeah, could you explain exactly, like, I don't really know why the buses were the way they were, or why the class lists were the way they were. I mean, was there an explanation of that?
Madam President, if I may re-quote Mr. Merite's
Try to.
word choosing, can you possibly walk us through the process of Skyward and it getting to the parents?
Mr. Shelby, I don't have the technical wherewithal to explain you the process. All I know is that I will tell you that it won't happen again. That much I can promise you. And as far as getting a further explanation on the specifics, I can have that to you at the next board meeting, or I can prepare that and send it out to the board, and then we can share it out. But I will definitely make sure that everybody understands on what happened and what will not happen moving forward again.
Thank you, Mr. Burke.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Shelby. That's what I was asking for the next time, but it's okay. Also, with Skyward, is that affecting the class list as well as the bus routes?
It did not affect the class list. So when we discovered that there were some bus route issues, we did send out a letter to the entire student community, parent community, to make sure that they got the correct bus route, and we did that. I believe letters went out last Wednesday, so everyone should have had enough time to get that letter before school started to verify their bus routes. And hopefully that happened. And I know that the transportation department has been fielding calls and emails pretty much nonstop. A lot of them are just general requests that, can we move our stop, can we, just various things that happen from year to year, people making requests. A lot of those requests, I will say, are more in a delayed mode, because we're addressing more, not that we're saying that one issue is more important than the other, but as far as making sure that everybody has a route and everybody's where they're supposed to be is things that are being addressed. As far as special requests, those are going to come as we receive them.
Thank you, Mr. Burke.
Is it possible to talk about maybe next year, just in addition to the whole Skyward stuff, just putting class lists on the front door of the school so that if somebody didn't get it in the mail or somebody can't sign into Skyward, I couldn't sign into Skyward, but that we could just drive to the school and look at it like back in the 80s.
That's always an option. That's always an option. I mean, we're hopefully, the plan is to not go backwards with those kinds of things, so we're just going to make sure that it's done, but we'll definitely have backup plans for those particular situations.
And I think for the Skyward issue, we should talk about it in the Technology Committee.
Sure.
Wherever communications fits in for some of this, talk about it there. And then the buses, we are bringing in ABC to our committee meeting to talk to them about the issues we've had to date. So those are the forward steps there. Any other suggestions for that?
No, when's your next meeting?
It
Just
is September 4th, 7 PM. We'll be in the boardroom.
So you can pass the word.
That's your next meeting. Ms.
The
Knox.
Finance and Operations Committee. Yeah, so.
Will that be streamed?
I won't be there.
We don't stream those, do we? We could.
We don't, right, but we can. If that's a request made by the board, we can do that.
She doesn't want to do it.
What is the village has gone to a better tool for streaming.
They started,
They went to going.
they spent a decent amount of money, too. I don't even.
Oh, that's, okay, good.
Yeah.
Done.
I mean, I actually watched the last board meeting because I wasn't there, and I could hear everything, and I thought it was fairly well done. I had no issues.
On Facebook Live, yeah, I watched
It
that
wasn't,
too.
no, it was on the YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, the YouTube, they've done
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that's what I was asking about, they've gone to that YouTube. So,
Well, and ours was on YouTube, and I watched ours, and it was, I could understand everything, I could see everything, so I don't think we have an issue.
okay, great. The only reason I even brought up this, because our next meeting really is technically not till the 16th,
Right.
which I think is way in advance. That's a long way away from now. And I was getting some phone calls and questions, I'm sure many board members might have been, so I didn't really know what to say at all. And if it is a technical issue, we need to take care of it. And Mr. Brick is right, it shouldn't happen again.
Okay?
Madam President,
Yes.
you're not calling for, in the last meeting, in your absence, we had discussed potentially at this meeting or the following meeting to have board reports for, or committee meeting reports. Would you like to table that from this meeting and go to the next meeting, or would you like that to be presented now?
Is that something we should do with the COW, as opposed to the regular
Sure.
board meeting? Because it's
Just a
committee of the
question of
whole,
that.
so then we can all chime in on the conversations the committees have had?
Yeah, I think it was meant, we did kind of talk about for me, the cow,
Sure.
when there could be that interaction.
Okay.
Is that something we have to vote on?
Yeah,
You can't vote on it during a special meeting.
Okay, so, yeah, we're going to have to table it.
right.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to any other board member reports or requests? All right, let's move on to our superintendent search discussion. I'm going to turn it over to Ryan.
Okay. Thank you for having us. We're excited to be here. As we said, this is our team, and we are here with you tonight. So with some of the individuals that I met with, I kind of went down the topics of discussion of what we're going to discuss tonight. Some things we can go ahead and absolutely get a hard yes or no on, and a decision. Others we can go ahead and talk about for future. But you can see the topics of discussion I passed out. It's that beautiful violet paper, and we can just start going down one by one. So, number one, discuss the procedures for reimbursement of candidates' travel expenses by the district. So what this really means is 99% of the districts out there that do superintendent searches, in 2019, pay for the candidate expenses when they come in for the first round and for the second round of interviews face-to-face. We just want a clarification that you will go ahead and be paying candidate expenses.
Anyone have any issues with that?
Do you know how much that's going to be? Do you have an estimate?
No, we don't have an estimate because we don't know where candidates are coming from.
How far can they come from?
National.
Alaska?
Well, yeah, we've placed people from Alaska, but again, I have to develop the profile and find out what you're looking for first before I go out and recruit people from Alaska.
So your last 3 searches, what were the average candidate expenses for those?
Again, that's tough because my last search was, I'm doing one in the state of Florida right now, I'm doing one in the state of Iowa right now, and Washington. So it just depends. In fact, although if you look in the proposal that we gave to you, it did give an estimate of expenses in that proposal that we gave to you. So we can probably look that back up, and I can send that to the chair if you wish.
Is this something that needs to go through, can we do this, it doesn't have to go through Finance Committee, or does it?
I don't see,
No.
no, it's just, it's like us submitting our
That's
T and E to the,
So, I guess my only question about this is, like, what does that entail?
It entails possibly a hotel, maybe a airline fee, or mileage if they're close enough to drive.
So when we did this, though, just for clarification, this would be one of the candidates that were interested, not just anybody who's
That's
applying.
correct.
So it's-
Exactly.
That's
It's
right.
gone through the filter, and we're like, oh, this person is really interesting, we want to see them.
That's correct.
So that's the first, not the, that's the first round then?
No, so the.
What round would that start? possibly?
Here's what it would be is, on the date that you select tonight here, I'll just say 11/5/2019, when I come and we present candidates to you. We're going to present 10 to 12 candidates for you, all right? You're going to work through a matrix system, and throughout that matrix, you'll probably narrow it from 10 to 12 to 5 or 6. That'll be your first round of interviews face-to-face. And then you will narrow it down again, and you may narrow it down to the final 2.
so we're talking.
The
how
final
many?
2?
Just the final 2 flying in, or would we
No,
fly in the
you'll-
5 or
the
6?
5 or 6 for the first round of interviews face-to-face, and then for your second round, probably the final 2.
That's if we're flying in, they might be driving, yeah.
Right.
Okay. What does everybody think?
I'm okay with it.
Well, kind of makes
Yeah.
sense. I've never heard of
Yeah.
it, though, admittedly, so.
I mean, it's regular private companies, this is what they do.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, this
you
is,
know,
Right.
this is
yeah,
done in
this
every
is-
CEO
Yeah.
search, you know.
This is a CEO
Yep,
job, so.
okay.
So are we
Okay.
good to say yes? Or we're going to vote on a overall motion when we're done with this to approve the decisions we've made? So we don't have to have a motion for each of these bullet points, just a
Consensus, right.
consensus, so it seems like we have that for this one, all right?
Okay. All right. And again, we're going to try to be cognizant of your time here tonight. So we're done with the first one. Number 2, establish a timeline for the superintendent search. Rick, could you guys hand this out? Sorry. Oh, I need the top.
I think you need to give it to the board. Sure.
So there's 2 copies that we're handing out. At the very top, one says a 30-day recruitment process, and the other one says a 60-day recruitment process. I'll make sure everybody gets it first.
Thank you.
So there's one date on here that I know we got correct. That's today. You can see it says August 21st. So the big difference here is it's an extra 30 days of recruitment process. So if you go down at the very bottom on the 30-day recruitment, that would have you on the week of November 18th having that final interview and selecting your superintendent on the week of November 18th. On the 60-day recruitment process, if you go down at the very bottom, it has that interview process wrapping up the week of 12/16. I mean, we give you a couple different options here. If it were up to us, I don't think we're in a rush here. So I would prefer to do the 60-day recruitment process. That would be my suggestion to you all. And it also kind of works in nicely that the deadline for all application materials on the 60-day recruitment process is November 25th. And so we kind of don't mess with Thanksgiving holidays with this timeline at all. So.
Plus, we know we've already said we want to latest vote on this in our February meeting, so this gives us plenty of time to do that. I don't think we need to push to a 30-day.
I agree.
I agree.
I
I agree.
I agree.
All
The only
right.
question I have on that is
Yep.
by adding the, you have a 2-month period window for people to, from the time the promotional flyer goes out to the deadline. Doesn't the, kind of the opening become a little stale by being open that long?
No.
No?
No, I'm not worried about that at all. And plus, this also gives us some time. There will be state conventions going on around this time frame, so it'll give us extra time to hit those as well.
Okay, thanks.
So we're all good with the 60-day? All right.
Okay. On to number 3, and this really just requires a discussion for one meeting. Would the board like to receive all meetings materials via email or a flash drive to save on paper copies and shipping expenses for the district? That really is the meeting where we come back and present the findings of what we heard from the constituent groups and the online survey. Rick lives 10 minutes away. So I don't think that there's a problem for us to be here, and we're not going to be driving or flying in. So if you want us here in person to do that, we can do that, or we can do it over Skype.
What do people think?
So the presentation of our findings at the constituent meetings in person or via internet somehow.
If we have the option, I think in person.
Well, if Rick can be here.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course.
Yeah. That would be great.
Or in person.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay. So, number 4, determine the input process, who will be involved. My understanding is that this board is going to make,
Number 3, I'm confused now, yeah.
I'm sorry,
You mixed 2
Number
and 3
2
up.
was,
Right.
was in-person meetings.
No, number
3
3.
was receiving materials via email or paper.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Or flash drive.
right.
I'm
So-
okay with paper.
So we could have it delivered in a flash drive format, or we could have somebody give the presentation to you.
Oh, I see.
So number 3, you're just talking about that one meeting.
Right.
Okay.
Just that one.
Number 2,
Number 2 is establishing
it
timeline.
also says, what, if any, meetings would the board like to conduct via Skype or conference call to reduce expenses?
Yeah, it's kind of redundant there.
Okay. All right. Because we have Rick, he's so close, it works.
Rick is so close. Rick eats at the same pizza place you do.
You found a good one? Because I'm still searching. No, sorry. I'm from New York. Anyways, okay.
They don't have good pizza, so what's
New York does.
okay.
Does that help, Mr. Melody?
It does.
Okay.
Thank you.
So number 4, determine the input process, who will be involved. So it's my understanding that this board is going to make the decision on who the next superintendent is. There's not going to be several committees or anything like that. If I'm wrong about that, go ahead and please let me know, but that's my understanding that the board is going to make this decision.
Yes, I mean, we're going to have a very robust
Right.
data gathering process with
Engagement.
our communities, so we're not going to have a committee to help us. We're going to do it. That's our job, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay,
Agree?
I agree.
okay.
But if I may, Madam President, so one of the points that I touched upon, which I'd like to also satisfy Mr. Castergren's comments, that we were going to have community input.
I'm getting to that.
Right, okay.
Okay,
But we're going to make the
course.
decision.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're all in agreement on that? Okay, great. And yes, so the next part of this is the constituent groups, what that's going to look like. We don't have to decide that tonight. I think that maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Madam President, is it Jill?
Yes.
Okay, Jill. We could go ahead and start thinking about those groups that you want to meet with. I believe we also sent over some copies of what other districts, like yourself, have looked at as far as groups and meetings go. So if you want to go ahead and maybe put that together of what we, suggested, what we also suggested are people such as your teachers, your students, your central office, your faith-based group leaders, your business group leaders in the community. Those are some, and obviously, PTA, Kiwanis Club. I mean, whoever you want us to meet with, we're going to meet with. We don't tell you who we're going to meet with because we don't know your community. And so we're, happy to give you those suggestions. And if you want to go ahead and, send some suggestions to Jill, we'll try to organize that and finalize it for you.
Okay. When we met, we talked about 20 people in a constituent group.
Yeah.
And an example was each principal could choose, or have teachers volunteer. And so there'll be 2 teachers from each school in the teacher group, that kind of thing. We could do a whole principal, assistant principal group, that's 20, things like that.
And another thing that we can go ahead and talk about is that we suggest that you do open forums, okay, for the community.
Just going to ask, we're
For
going to have.
parents
Yeah, so-
and community.
Yep, so the community forums could be easily at a high school auditorium, so it can sit, a good number of people. And we suggest that you do one of those in the morning and one in the evening to catch people after work as well. Also with this process is that, remember, there's going to be a 33 qualities of desired qualities for your next superintendent search. So this will be on your webpage, on the front page. Click here to take the superintendent survey results. It's 33 qualities, but you can only select 10. That's the kicker. And then on the survey, there's a blank spot as well. And so that's a place where anybody can write anything that their heart desires, that they feel that the board should know. And we don't edit any of that. We bring it right to you so you can see exactly what everybody wrote. So there's the committee or community meetings where people are invited. There's the town forums where everybody can come, and everybody has the option to take the online survey. And by the way, it's done by IP address, so somebody can't sit there at the one computer and just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. So you get one per IP.
Can I ask a question? You've lost me, and maybe I'm just lost. What numbers you're referring to do not reflect off this purple sheet.
What numbers?
Any of the numbers that I come to?
Well, I think, we're talking about the input process?
I don't know.
General bucket?
Yeah, are you coming off the same purple sheet that we are?
How many does yours have?
12.
That's what ours says. Yeah,
We're on number 4.
We're on number 4.
Or the input.
Determine the input process, who will be involved, groups.
Involved in interviews.
Yeah.
I took this item
Well,
to mean.
involved in interviews, second round, will there be a committee? I'm also just talking about the groups of, the constituent groups, too.
Stakeholders.
Yeah, stakeholders.
We didn't talk about this.
Okay, well, we're
I
back
just,
on.
I just kind of, I threw the stakeholders in there.
Yeah, okay, we're back on a little now that you said this is number 4, because you were talking about numbers before, and we weren't, Tom and I were kind of saying the same thing, we weren't on the same, I was trying to follow the numbers. So now we're talking about stakeholders, and what did you say about the first round interviews again? Are there going to be groups
Some
involved?
districts, some boards of education will appoint a committee to do the first round of interviews of the candidate.
Correct.
And that's what number 4 is directed at, is do we want to do that? And this board said
No.
no. The board will conduct the interviews.
Right.
That's different, in my opinion, from community meetings,
Right.
stakeholder.
Right.
Yeah, I just-
Gatherings and those kinds of.
I threw that in
I
there.
think that's why there's some
Yeah.
confusion.
Yeah, from our stakeholders, we're going to see what qualities are important to them, what they would like to see
In the next
in the
superintendent.
next superintendent.
And what is
that will
the-
help guide us in our decisions.
What's the
but
time,
it's
do
still
we
our
have that already
decision.
established, though?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, you all suggested the 60-day recruitment.
Pink one.
So the meetings with
Yeah.
constituent, meetings with constituent stakeholder group representatives on the 60-day recruitment process is September 17th. Now, you can change that.
So we need to decide those groups.
We have a board meeting on the 6th.
No, we need to decide those groups, because we have to invite them, if that's the date,
Yeah, that's coming up pretty quick.
yes.
Sure.
So I mean, we don't necessarily need to know them
No.
tonight,
All right.
but you all have to.
We have to do it in this kind of forum, so this is
is the
probably
night.
our only chance,
Okay.
honestly, so, right?
Yeah, so this is kind of like workshop.
Well, we definitely want our stakeholder advisory committee members to be participating in the process, so that's for sure.
So, well,
Like what you said about the 2 per,
the teachers, 2 per school,
school.
and then we could
We'll
do,
have extra teacher representation because we have them on the
Right.
stakeholder advisory committees too. And, I mean, it's open. It's a town hall style, right? For the-
Right.
For the open.
No.
The open forums.
There's two different
There's a morning
things we're
open
talking
forum
about.
and an evening open forum. The other constituent groups are by invite.
right, and we are not there. Just the invitation, not us, no board
All of
members.
that'll happen on the day of the 17th?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Look, break the ice a little bit. Our schools affect everybody in some way or another,
Mhm.
right? They affect the faith groups you talked about, they affect our admin, they affect our teachers, they affect our, every single layer, right? They affect all the, the students, of course, and they affect, as a real estate broker, I'm just talking out loud, everyone's value. So we should make this as open and transparent as possible so that we have as much input as possible without hindering the search in a, overly rigorous, like, as long as you're not coming back 3 to 4 to 5 times. So if there's a way that we were able to get like Sandbrook High School and have these forums, and we can invite our, our parent advisory groups, as well as maybe our principals and the assistant principals and some teachers within the schools. We have to get everybody collectively to make sure that we're fulfilling the need of transparency as well as community input.
Could you explain the difference between the forums and the constituent smaller group meetings? Because I think there's 2 different vehicles
That's
we're
fine.
using here
That's
that we
fine.
need to distinguish
There's
between.
constituent meetings. Those constituent meeting groups are the teachers that you invite, all right? The central office that you invite, the business leaders that you invite. Open forums are like everybody come y'all events, okay? That are advertised out there, where it is open, transparent, public, and there's 2 of them that we're talking about. We're having one in the morning and one in the evening. Heck, we can do 2 in 2 different locations if you want to be more open and transparent. So constituent groups are groups that are invited, and the open forums are what they are. They're open invites to the whole public.
And what's discussed at these constituent meetings? Like, is there input from all these people, or are they just watching you guys give a
Some of the
presentation?
same questions that we asked you, we're going to ask them. What are the qualities desired in the next superintendent? What are the things that are going to face the superintendent head-on when he or she walks in that door? So it's those kind of questions that we kind of talked with you about today. And, we go through the process with them, we go through the timeline with them, and we answer any questions that they may have at those meetings.
And this is what we do not attend.
Yes. Do not attend, excuse me, any of the constituent meetings or the open forums.
Oh, we don't attend the.
No. Because you don't want somebody to
Right.
sit there and say,
I got
we
that.
can
I
talk.
got that.
Okay.
These are usually in groups of 20, you're saying?
The invited
Not the-
groups.
The invited groups.
Right, that's what I'm
People we
saying.
want to make sure
Yeah,
we
the
hear
invited
from.
groups,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then the open forums are for, so we don't want to,
So one group of 20?
no,
Multiple.
all different constituents. We could have 6 groups of 20,
Great.
yeah.
Is it possible to get like, almost like a lottery of parents who want input?
Well, the
and then-
parents are in the
The parents
forums
come
are for
to
the
the open
parents.
forums.
Okay, so they won't have any input, though?
Oh, they will, in
No,
the forums.
yeah, we're going to ask the same questions that we asked you today.
Well, I know, but if there's 2,000 people sitting there.
There won't be.
Who's gonna, even if there's 100 people, like, how are they gonna give as much input as we gave one-on-one?
Right. So we can't have, 30 open forums. It's just not possible. But that's one of the reasons why we have that online survey, is that they can give their undivided attention as far as comments on here, as well as take the survey.
Right.
It's efficient. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
Do you want to give you told me in our meeting that, you've been through this process a number of times,
Yeah.
and the open forums tend to be,
So here's the deal.
Well
Now that
attended.
we're living in 2019, we have this thing called the internet, where people can go ahead and take this survey, and they don't have to leave the comfort of their home. They can do it when they're eating dinner. So don't be shocked that you don't have 1,000 people at this meeting. Don't be shocked if you don't have 50 people. Don't be shocked if there's 25 that show up. So a lot of people tend to give their input through this now, rather than attend those events.
Is there any option for live forum via the internet?
Questions and answers?
Yeah, questions and answers.
We've done that in the past.
So what concerns me is the one day.
yeah.
And if I'm not available, then that option is
Yeah,
out of my.
and you know what? If you want to make it what day is it? 9/17? You want to do 9/17, 9/18? That's fine. It's just, we're on the ground more often, so.
Or even online, just some way to get more people involved.
Yeah.
And have their questions answered, their input collected.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just worried a little bit about the date being a little bit too soon, but I would like the other board's opinion about that. That's just me.
Well, what we would suggest is that, and it could even start as soon as tomorrow morning, you reach out to some of these groups. You can think about doing robocalls to all the homes to let parents know about it. You can put it up on your website. Districts have sent flyers home with their kids. If you have a good working relationship with the media, they can announce it, radio station, TV, print, whatever. So those are some avenues that I would suggest that you look into.
So the one difference I see between we've already decided 60, but the 30 and 60 is pretty much all the dates are up until the
25th.
Yeah,
That's correct.
are pretty much all on.
It's just, we're adding 30 more days.
You're adding
of
30
recruitment
days for the application process.
for recruitment.
Right.
Mhm.
So that's basically,
That's the difference.
that's the difference. All right.
So I'm just going to ask a question just to make
Yep.
sure we're all clarified. So even for the audience that's watching. So for an example, we are an invited stakeholder group. Let's just say we're all teachers.
Mhm.
You, as the narrator, are going to ask a question, and you're going to receive input from the 20 people around.
That's correct.
So a week later, everyone is at Sandburg High School, and say you have 100 people, which I think is going to happen, in my opinion. But so you are going to ask the same questions to 100 people, and is it a matter of someone walking up to a microphone that wants to respond to it? What if there's 100 people waiting in line to speak about a specific question, or 2 or 3?
Well,
I guess I'm just trying
right.
to visualize this
Right, we
for
can-
us as a group.
Yeah, we can have, your tech department over here provide, 3, 4 microphones, and we can have runners that can go up to those people. But we have to understand, if there's 200 people there and 200 people all want to ask a question, there may not be a time. Because we have to go ahead and, say that the meeting is going to last this long.
But
And I think that's where the issue is if there is a lot of people and they want to give their input, we have to provide that opportunity for them to give their input. I know I'm not a board member, but that's just
No,
my
no,
opinion.
thank
you. Yeah.
My experience so far.
The survey as well covers
The
that.
survey, they can give all the input that they want here. I mean, we're more than happy to go ahead and do a 7-hour meeting, town hall.
Oh, geez.
I mean, but at some point, we have to go ahead and say that the meeting time is from this time to this time.
But if the committees or what are we calling them, committee? The 20
Constituent groups.
constituent groups, if they're allocated appropriately and you have a half a dozen of them, I mean, that's going to eliminate a lot of concern of overpiling into the general forum, correct?
Yes.
Especially if the groups are diverse enough where it covers the admin, teachers, and principals and associate principals, for instance, in one meeting,
Yeah.
for the sake of argument. And the next one could be a faith group, and the third one could be people that are affected from the village level, for instance. And then, so if we've got 6 of those, and that might even be a lot, but 6 to 8 of those groups, that's pretty much going to be very, very effective to not have an overflow within the town hall type of setting, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so then that would be probably my suggestion would be that would be the proper direction to go then, to say, how can we be thoughtful and meaningful that the groups that are represented are a true variation of all the stakeholders that would probably be affected on different levels within the community. And then it eliminates the concern for the town hall meeting being an overflow. And then the follow-up to that is that even based on your experience, which we respect, it doesn't sound like you're concerned about 40 people stepping up to a microphone and going through these questions. It doesn't sound like that comes up quite often.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Right.
So, I mean, we ask the questions, and, I tell people, don't raise your hand, just, write out or yell out what quality you want, and I'll write them down. And somebody may say something that somebody else wanted to go ahead and say, and so I'm not too concerned.
Great, so let's then be meaningful and purposeful on the groups being very well represented, and then we'll eliminate, and I think Mrs. Kulak brings up a good point too, though, that it's a little bit tight on the schedule, but if the constituent groups start quickly enough, then it'll eliminate the concern about the town hall not having enough time as well. So I think that's going to be our solution.
Yeah.
And I'm just speaking for myself, I mean, I don't.
No, I completely agree.
Who handles all the announcements, public relations on this?
The district does.
Our
Yeah.
communications?
Yeah. And we can work with them, give them examples and whatnot. I don't know your community. I know Sandburg High School. I don't know anywhere else where a meeting could be held. So that's why we rely on your knowledge of your own district.
And I kind of agree with you that once the question is asked at let's say you get 100 people, 200 people, there's going to be a lot of common questions, so
Yeah.
people are not going to be.
Repetitive.
And I think the biggest question that people are going to have is, where do we go from here in the process? And we explain the whole process, the whole timeline to them. And that's one of the biggest things that people want to know. And that alleviates a lot of questions.
Okay, that's fine. So I guess the question is, do we have it the same day? Is that what you're asking us also? Or?
Yeah, I mean, right now on the timeline, it's that one day. I mean, if you want to add another day in there and split up the groups, remember, there's 4 of us here on our staff. So, if you have 10 or 12 constituent group meetings, we can knock that out in a few hours.
Yeah, the majority of them are going to have to be in the evening, so we're going to have to do whatever the right term is, concurrent meetings. So
That date, does it interfere with any open houses or things going on?
they're all done by
They're all
then.
done.
but-
Right, I'm just, or any other kind of administrative meetings?
The closest thing we have is our board meeting.
I
Which is
know.
the night
I know
before.
Yeah, which is the night before.
Which is,
I mean, anything, we can make adjustments for anything.
Okay.
After that, if possible.
The You're going to have to contact Sandburg if that's what we're thinking.
I don't think we need
We don't
Sandburg.
need Sandburg,
We can do it in one of our junior highs.
Sure.
I think so, too.
definitely.
Century can handle
Yeah.
this.
So why don't we go ahead and get with Jill and see what groups we have and see if, we can work it out.
We need to talk about the groups.
Now,
Yes,
let's do it.
yep.
I mean, just rattling off, you could easily access business leaders through the chamber.
Right,
You got the village/township, which could be combined in that meeting depending on who can come. You got the district office, you got
Village and
teachers.
township, quite honestly. Do we really need to do the village and township if we have business leaders?
Well, we can incorporate individuals
Seem to be
within.
interested.
Yeah.
The PFE is obviously a good gateway, and we have lists of faith-based groups, faith-based leaders we can tap into, invite them. So, I mean, I think with, what do we got, 3 weeks, almost a month? It's enough time if we get invites out quick.
So we want to do our
Let's
committees.
Start at the top.
We can merge, we can do split them into 2 bigger groups and do 2 meetings with the 2 different that takes care of some parents and some other administrators, and, except for us, we won't be there.
Well, let's start up
Are we
top, right?
talking about forms right now, or
This
the
is
We're talking about the
constituent
constituents.
so
so
each
up
one
to-
of them is going to handle it, so they could be, they could.
We could do
be done
4 at a time.
At a time, yeah.
Yes.
So like, just sequence-wise, let's start at the top, right?
Okay.
So we want administrators
Yes.
and building leadership, high priority, right? Or, I mean, not to differentiate people. So those will be 20. So I would imagine that we have, but if we have 10 schools, and we have a principal and associate principal, that's one meeting.
Or we could just have one of the two.
What-
Because some
what do
of
you
them
think,
are
John?
going to be at the committees, because Pro Rock's on our committee. I don't know who's on some of the other committees, but, so Dan, you know, I think one of the two is sufficient. And then building it, people from the admin office centrally, and that could be one group? Like 10,
And not all buildings have an AP,
that's true, too.
so there's not 20.
Linda, do you see this happening, something like when we went through those focus groups at Century? Same type of,
Oh, you mean with the
with the
School
schools
of
to
Dis-
watch?
yes,
yeah.
yes,
They
yes.
came out and they had different
Yes.
groupings. They knocked those off, what, within an hour?
They did probably 10 of them in one day.
Yeah.
All right,
Yes,
They knocked them
so
out pretty fast.
so
principal.
principal and/or assistant principal and
District office.
district
in one
office.
group.
That's the first meeting.
Okay.
We agree? The second would be, I would imagine, would be teachers.
Mhm.
So we want to ensure that there's 20 teachers from within the district, from different levels of the district as well. So,
2 teachers per
For me,
school,
per school, that would do it.
right,
2 per school,
perfect,
or 20,
For 20.
great.
That's two.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's two groups.
Yep.
Mike, we good? Third, I think, would be,
Business, chamber?
I'm thinking just our schools first, so like PFE or groups, you know, or people from our,
Committees.
I'm sorry?
Our committees.
The committees.
that's- yeah, our
yes.
committees, yeah.
I hesitate to have a special PFE group. I don't know that those parents should get a special designation above other parents in
I
a
was thinking
special
with
group.
with the committee members, right?
The committee's a different thing,
From the
yeah.
advisory committees,
Right.
that would be a.
Yes.
just
Perfect,
pick
done.
two
2
from there.
groups.
Great,
Yep.
Advisory committee.
So 2 advisory committee groups,
so we're at 4, right?
so that's 4.
There's 60, well, I guess there's 50 people involved.
Can you handle 25 in a, and we won't be there?
Right, and 2 are on each, there's 2 board members on each committee that count for 50, so there's 40. You
That's
have
perfect.
2 administrators on each one, so that's
Still
another,
being-
so there's 30 left.
And you've got,
But just pick 2 from each committee that aren't.
No, we're going to do all, the whole committee.
The whole
Committee.
committee,
Yes.
got it.
Minus the people that are on the board or
Right.
that are.
Or that are already taking part in the other,
Yeah.
okay? So that's 2 of those.
That's good.
Well, if we're down to 30, wouldn't that, and.
Can you handle
there's
30 in a
there's
group, or do you
chance that
prefer
5
20?
might
You can
not
handle
show up.
30?
Good.
All right, so that's 1.
so we're at 4 now, right?
Right.
We're still at 4,
3?
right?
We're at 3 now.
4,
We're 3.
3.
3, oh, I thought it said 4, sorry.
You have a DO admin committee, you have a teacher committee, and you have a board advisory committee.
Right,
Or.
Board
focus group,
advisory focus
however
group.
you want to name it.
yep.
Okay, then we're, the next level is the, Mr. Hodge, his, what were you saying, the chamber?
Business.
Chamber.
Business.
Business leaders.
Yeah.
Business leaders.
I can get in touch with Mike Hardick.
Community leaders.
Maybe we throw the community, put the village
I don't know
in
if we
with
need
the chamber.
Sure.
Community leaders.
Community leaders, which includes business and
Covered.
township and village.
And are we doing faith groups then?
Can we,
What did you say?
Hey, are we doing faith? Somebody mentioned faith groups earlier.
no, they did, yeah.
You did.
Yeah, it's common across the country.
What do everybody think?
You know, throw them in with the community leaders? Invite,
What would be, like, what is their distinction over other groups? Like, why would, I mean, you know, like you said, you didn't want to give PFE, so why would we give faith-based in a public school system?
Leaders in the community.
So we could go with general leaders, not necessarily faith-based.
Well, we are.
so maybe we'll put them in there?
With community leaders. Sure, why not?
So a couple from the chamber, a couple from the village, a couple faith leaders,
Yep.
and then, or a few of each.
They
Yep.
make up your community.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's.
Is there any group not represented?
Do we want to do, like, junior high kids?
Students are.
Oh, students.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
love meeting
Yeah,
students.
so let's keep it, though, junior high, because the younger ones probably won't. Yeah, what do you think?
I think
Yeah?
it's a good idea.
Sure.
Preferably 7th or 8th graders,
Or
probably.
even high school kids
Even-
that came through
Oh,
our
that's true.
district,
Former.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Great idea.
That's a
Very
great idea.
especially 9th, 10th graders.
Yeah.
Great idea. Great.
How would we engage them? We
I'll
ask
talk
for
to
volunteers.
Dr. Gay, and he would be more than willing probably to assist us in anything along
They have
those lines.
they have special groups in each high school.
How would we engage the 7th and 8th graders? Ask the principals for,
Yeah, I think the principals, you can implement the team leaders that know the students.
Yeah.
So I think
How
those
We
are.
could probably
How about-
bus our kids to Sandburg, right?
How about the
So we
student,
could have
how about
the-
student council leaders
Yeah,
in the
That's
junior
that's
high?
commonly seen.
yeah.
From the high school and the junior high school.
Will we do that as one group?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
yes.
all right.
Wait, 6? 6.
Did we forget anybody?
Anything else? Think of.
Senior citizens.
Forum.
Don't you count for that?
And they get to fill out the survey. Everybody gets to fill out the survey.
Mike,
I'm a senior citizen, it has to be before 6.
I wouldn't have guessed it.
Dinner is,
Others did. I just,
He didn't hear.
has to be before 6.
And how are these groups getting formed?
Well, the teachers are going to be, the principals, APs, district office, that's straightforward. The teachers, we're going to have them apply, for lack of a better word, or volunteer to their principal, and let the principals and assistant principals make the call on what teachers are in the groups, is my recommendation. The advisory committees are already formed. The community leaders, we're probably going to have to reach out to Mike, reach out to Paul and Keith, and see what their opinions are, if they want to take part.
Yeah, they may not want to take part.
Yeah.
I have a question. Where would like VFW, Kiwanis Lions Club be included in that group? Community?
Yeah, I think so.
might have to do 2 of those.
We have to do 2 of
I would have
those.
to do 2, so.
Yeah, maybe we'll do 2 of
We have to
those.
do-
It's going to be constrained by who accepts the
Right.
invite.
right.
Right.
Yeah, you might think you might need, yeah. The acceptance of the invite is
I mean,
going to be a little
As far as
lower than
reaching,
you
who do you recommend reaches out? Should it be someone from the board, myself, reaches out to the people?
It can, generally, it's an email coming from, the board secretary or from the board itself.
Okay.
Well, we have liaisons for.
Yeah, we do have
village, township.
liaisons,
Right,
yes.
so let's utilize it.
All right, good idea.
Sure.
So that's, you're the village, right? Mike? Or are you 230?
I think I'm the village.
You're the village.
I'm 230.
I think I'm township.
Do we have to?
We don't have a business one. I'll reach out to Mike.
Okay.
And how about faith-based?
I mean, I know 4.
I mean, I could reach out to Don Borling.
That was one of my 4, but yeah, okay.
Park, you want to reach Devon Parkview? Anybody else have somebody they want to reach out to in their circle for faith-based?
I have 1.
Okay. Missing anybody else in the groups? No? All right.
Okay.
Do you think we should do 2 days, or do you think we should have done in 1?
I mean, Dr. Brea brings up a great point. I think
Yeah.
that 2 days is probably ideal, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I think it covers good ground, and it's,
Well, let's see who
For the
accepts.
constituents groups?
No,
Have 2
the-
days? Or
And
for
the forums are
I was
included,
more worried
too.
about the parent groups,
The forums?
the forums, yeah.
Will they be held on the same day? The constituent groups and the forums?
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
It's a busy day.
they can handle it.
Well, let's see, I mean, it's only, we're only talking about an extra day, so let's see who.
Well, I know, but we have to be
who accepts
mindful of extra expenses on that as well.
That's why I'm saying we should wait to see who accepts the invites to the constituent groups and see how big of a group we have for one day. And then, I mean,
It's just we need to get the date out there so people can plan,
yeah.
because we know,
I mean, you know your capability better than we do. I mean, what do you think?
6 or 7 one-hour meetings, right? Is that
Yeah.
what we're talking about?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
And then two forums.
That's
One
right.
in the morning, one in the evening.
One in the morning, one in the
Long
evening.
day, but you could do it in a day.
Yeah.
And the forums are usually 2 hours? I'm
No, I
What are
mean,
they usually?
for the open forums, hour and 15 minutes, something like that.
have you met our town?
I have not, I have not. But, we're going to stay there, and, we're not just going to say, time's
I
up.
have a
So-
Facebook page you could take a look at to see,
Well-
but yeah.
Well, even when we did stuff for different things, like we were looking at the different K-5s, the type of things, what we got wasn't as much as they thought they would get, so I
I
think
had a
we're...
lot of administrators at those meetings. so-
Yeah, if you take them out,
Take those out, let's
yeah,
see
so
what turns out.
yeah, we'll see.
And remember, the survey is going out.
Yeah, the
Yes,
survey,
right.
people are gonna
Yes.
do it that way.
Yep, the survey's going to be online from 8:28 to 9:17.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody's gonna have a good opportunity to have input.
Correct.
Well, we could do the principal, assistant principal, district office, teachers in the afternoon after school's over. So those don't have to be in the evening. So the only ones that really have to be in the evening are probably the community leaders, and 2 of you guys can be doing those while the other groups are doing the forums, right? So, we could probably get it done in a day.
Yeah, let's knock it off.
All right, so plan on that?
So for planning purposes, what, we're doing this on the 17th?
Yes.
Everything's on the 17th?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll work on the junior high, and then have the administration work on rooms and provide facilities, so.
And again, if, you need anything from us, Molly in our office is going to be great to work with for you.
Okay.
So can I ask a question about the survey itself? I know you said we are going to put a link up on our website, but is there a more direct way that you recommend? I mean, you said maybe putting it in a newspaper, like running it.
Maybe an advertisement to, hey, go to the website, but no, not put the survey.
No, not the survey. I'm saying the advertisement to go to the website.
Absolutely.
Okay.
In the Prairie?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And we're also going to have paper copies at the meetings, too. So if
We always
anybody...
run the danger, we use our regular communication channels, it just goes to parents.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
So are we asking Mr. Brick to let communications know to run an ad in the Prairie?
we'll need some copy for the ad, what we should put in there, something that's brief.
Sure. I can go ahead and have Molly contact your contact. So, no worries.
So what do we want to run, 2, 3, 4 weeks?
We could put a sticker.
The stickers work.
Oh, yeah,
on the
that's a great
paper.
idea.
And that would be a good one-time blast.
Yeah, one-time sticker.
On the Prairie?
One time, yeah.
Mhm.
They're cost effective, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
we've done it
Perfect.
before for registration, so.
Okay.
We could run Facebook ads.
No, we could.
We could.
We
So
don't,
Bright will
Could do what?
make
I'm
sure
sorry.
that
What's
Facebook
that?
ads.
gets out.
Gets to a lot of people.
we'll share, we all have to share.
Yeah. Are we done with this, you think?
We are.
That number.
Number 4, is that we still on number 4,
Probably
right?
hit some others,
We're,
too.
we're on number 5.
Okay.
So, who will be the consultant's in-house contact person? We've already determined it was Jill.
Okay.
So, Jill will be having lots of conversation with Molly. And then the board contact person, generally, it's the chair of the board.
That'd be good.
Okay? Okay,
Everyone okay with that?
Chair Pro
All
Tem.
right.
No,
Oh,
not pro tem.
okay. On to number 6. Discuss the procedures for developing the promotional flyer, job description, et cetera, et cetera. So, We, in-house, make all kinds of different flyers that has the job description on it, the deadline and selection, the salary and benefits, the credentials that are required. We do that as part of our contract. We can go ahead and do that for you, or if you feel that you have a graphic design team and they want to do it, great. But I'm assuming, like most boards, they'll say, you go ahead and do it.
Yes, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And so we'll need some stock photos, Jill, and so you and Molly can work through that. Any other questions about the flyer? Okay. Wonderful. Approval of...
I do have one question.
Yes.
On that flyer, because it's got job description, HR material. Suzanne Owens is going to be in the loop on making sure that
Sure. No. Suzanne, we'll keep you abreast. Okay. Okay. Number 7, approval of online application. I gave Mr. Melody a copy of our online application earlier. It's a basic, application that we use for some of the largest school systems like Dallas, Fort Worth, Seattle, Washington, Detroit, all the way down to small little charter schools. It's pretty basic. Mr. Melody, if you see, it's fine?
It's fine.
Okay.
Take off the one part about
Salary
Yep.
history.
Yep.
You're good.
Okay. Great.
moving right along.
Number 8, I'm sorry, I thought I heard
No,
somebody.
go
Okay. Approval of all advertisements. So, if you want to go ahead. There is. Awesome.
Thanks. Make sure superintendent gets one, too.
Do we have another one? Excuse me.
You got it, okay.
Got
Are
it.
they different?
Orange.
No,
Oh, 60 and 30.
Two different ones.
We only really need the 60 right over here, sorry.
Here, yeah, the outline.
So what we're looking at is suggested superintendent search advertising. There's a 30-day recruitment and a 60-day recruitment one. We've already decided that we're going to do the 60-day recruitment one. So unless you wanted to go ahead and only do a 30-day recruitment as far as advertising goes, and then a 60-day, us on the ground beating the pavement. But I suggest we do the 60-day recruitment advertising as well. I'm not going to tell you where to spend your money. I'm going to tell you where to get your biggest bang for your buck. And so if you look at the very top, it says AASA, the job bulletin and website. I highly suggest that you do AASA as far as one of your advertising. The one below that, Education Week, I also highly recommend. Those are the two places that superintendents who are looking for a job or just not even looking for a job, they just want to see what's out there, that's where they go. AASA and Ed Week. Those are the two big ones. As far as some of the others, NAPSE, which is the National Alliance of Black School Educators, that's something that you could look into. It's not very much. It's $250. And then there's also the Association of Latino Administrators, ALAS, which is $150. Those 4 are the ones that I would suggest that you advertise in. You can see on here, there's a whole bunch of free ones as well. Why not? Let's hit it.
Sure.
It's free.
Yep.
And then there's others on here such as School Leadership 2.0, and then other options like I'm Diversity, Career Builder down there. I don't suggest doing any of those. I just don't see very good results coming out of those. So my suggestion to you is AASA, the first one, Educational Week, which is the second one, NAPSE and ALAS.
And there's all these different options in Education Week? All these are?
Yes, so Educational Week, yeah. Honestly, the job listing, yeah, will run on Ed Week website for 30 days.
So that's what you recommend, just
Yeah.
that one?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Just the base
Just
fee?
the base,
Yep.
$395?
Yep.
Okay.
So 649, 395, 250, and 150? Those are your recommendations?
Yeah,
Plus all the free ones?
Plus the
Plus
free.
all
plus
the
all the
free
free ones, yep. And it will be advertised, obviously, on our website, too, so.
So can I go back to the 30 versus 60-day recruitment process?
Sure.
If you're only posting the job for 30 days, why do you need 60 days?
We're posting it for, our recruitment period is 60 days.
I'm saying on these job posting sites, it's only going to be up for 30 of the 60.
Right, so. if you wa-
AASA will be up for 60.
Right.
AASA will be. Now, we could do Educational Week twice, for 30 days and 60 days, if the board wants to.
So that's why I asked.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we were going to do that, I would do it for Educational Week. I wouldn't do it for NAPSI or ALIS.
Okay.
We have enough contacts with NAPSI and ALIS that we're going to make sure that they all know about the position. So do you want to run Educational Week twice?
What do you guys think?
I think so.
Yeah?
It's a big publication.
It's on every superintendent's desk. Okay. So AASA for 60
I didn't get
days?
head nods over here.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I don't know. I mean, I would yield to Dr. Berry. She would know better, like, as far as the Education Week newspaper.
Sure.
All right.
Okay.
So we're not doing these two. We're doing this twice and this.
Okay.
Okay?
Twice on the second.
We're taking out NAPSI. No.
NAPSI and,
649,
yeah.
Alice?
395
Times two, that's it.
And that's it.
Yes.
Correct.
1439.
Okay, so
Do we even need
we're
these
knocking
two?
off the other two.
Do we even need
So,
these two?
so we're keeping it under $1,500.
So-
Contacts, so we're not going to do this.
If I could make a
Yes.
recommendation,
I was just going to ask.
Yes.
just in terms of having a good recruitment and the minimal cost of the NABC and ALIS, for another $400, I would do those.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would do those.
I agree.
Just to make
Yeah.
Yes.
want to make a legitimate
Make our
effort at
efforts.
diversity.
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah.
sounds good.
So all four?
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
All four but one twice.
1839.
Yes.
Yeah, Education Week twice.
So it's like 1850 or something?
1839. Yeah.
Okay.
And then where you see district to post, if you post, it's free. If we post it, it costs money. So we're happy to do it and then, expense it back to you, but it's just easier if you guys do
Okay.
it.
Think we can handle that?
Mrs. Owens is more than capable of handling that.
All right.
All right?
Yep.
Number 9, I already know this answer. Are there any specific state requirements for the position? No, not really. There's nothing special. I always use it as an example. In the state of Wisconsin, in order to be a superintendent, you have to have taught 3 years. So there's nothing like that in the state of Illinois. So unless somebody else knows of any other, state requirements that I may not know about.
Type 75.
Right, the certificate, right.
Pass a background check.
And pass the, yeah, but nothing odd, nothing odd out there.
I'm worried there, I gotta be honest with you.
No, nothing odd out there.
I mean, what did I go to school for?
Yeah. So, any other oddities out there that we need to know about? I don't think there are.
The websites, part of there's a background check for any employee.
Correct.
And then the certificate, that's really.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
That kind of answers number 10, too, doesn't
All right.
Okay. Yeah, number 10, as you were saying, is the board willing to offer a contract for a finalist that would need to obtain licensing in Illinois? If they don't have one, it's easy.
If they have a superintendent's license in Colorado
Yeah,
and they
there's
have to come here, I'm
reciprocating.
assuming it's like getting a new driver's license. I don't know what the specifics are here, if anybody.
I think, I don't either, but it would depend on what they have in their
Right.
quiver already. So I think the answer
It
to that
depends.
is.
It depends.
It depends.
Yeah, it
Mo-
depends.
Most states are reciprocal.
Okay.
I have a superintendent license from Minnesota, and there's reciprocity out there.
Yeah.
More often than not, there's no requirement for cost around that.
Well, in that situation, I think the board would have no problem saying, making an offer
Right.
contingent on you getting the license. But if you didn't have that license and you said, well, I'm going to need 6 months more school to
No,
get it.
that's
No.
That could be a no.
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 It's a pre-employment
Yeah.
condition.
Yes.
In your flyer, there should be, or will be, a statement that says that if you do not have the certificate for the state of Illinois, you should get one, and if you don't know how to get one, contact the Illinois State Board of Education, which will then tell you what you need to do. And before we bring to you candidates, we will call the Illinois State Board of Education to find out if Linda has already started the process and if she's going to meet the requirements. So we will attempt to our best not to bring you a candidate that is not in the process and will be guaranteed a certificate.
And that question is actually on the application. Do you hold a superintendent license for this position? Are you eligible for a superintendent license for this position? And have you verified your eligibility with the state that this district is located in?
Perfect.
That last sentence is what I was referencing. You know, if I'm licensed in Minnesota, I'm going to apply here in Illinois, I got to go through the state board to make sure there's reciprocity and no issues, or do the application process prior to applying.
Tom, anything would be contingent upon the ability to work in Illinois.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's in every administrator contract we have anyway, so yeah.
Okay. All right, good.
Who is the contact that the firm, number 11, should send invoices for payment to? I believe we were going to do Jill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Bill, you okay with that? Yep.
District 230, Dr.
Mr.
Gay.
American.
Sure, I'll pay it, whatever.
Okay. And lastly, number 12, discussion of salary. I'll be very clear to this.
Here you go.
We are not asking for a number tonight. Okay. We don't necessarily need a number. We have some time, but I'm giving you some food for thought here. So, let's see, is it all went around?
This is national, this is Illinois.
No, they don't have green yet.
We're not getting him.
It's coming.
He doesn't have superintendents. What's that? Jesus Christ. He doesn't have the superintendent. Is he blind? Oh, wait, what the heck?
I'll wait till.
Is there any way to get numbers based on enrollment closer to ours? I mean, some of these are like 4 times what we have.
Not 4, but.
No, we have 5,500, so at the most they're 2.
5,200.
Right.
Twice.
So what you'll see is the Illinois school salary comparison, the enrollment. I mean,
I just passed out national.
no,
Oh, did they?
but he did it. So what you really need to focus on is the 2021 estimated salary. Your estimated salary average in like districts is around 210,000 that we found out. And then I was also given a list of some other districts like you, and about over half of them are well over 200,000 as well. And then you'll see on the national superintendent salary comparison that the estimated salary is around 218,000.
Do you have copies of that for us?
I don't.
Suzanne can provide that.
Yeah, but some of these are high schools.
Sorry. Oh, wait.
Wait.
Oh, there were one sheet? Oh, sorry.
Oh, they're
I could have passed those around. I'm sorry.
She was prepared.
So,
That's her old one, right?
I don't know if many of you are aware of what your superintendent is, well, when he left what he was making, but am I wrong in saying it was 193.8? So 193.8.
Yes.
So my thought process on this is you definitely want to go ahead and, think about this and a number that you want to decide on. I don't need that specific number until we come back and we present the survey results to you that night. That's the night that I'm going to need a number. So this is just some food for thought. But you definitely want to go ahead as a district. This is a well sought after job. I'm just letting you know that right now. And you don't want to be a training ground. And right now, if you look at your past, you've been a revolving door. So somebody's here for 3 years, leaves, 2 years, 3 years. You haven't had anybody that has come in and actually grown roots into the community. And so in order to do that, I just don't want you to be a training ground where somebody's going to come here for 2 or 3 years and then leave for a bigger salary. With that being said, you want to put enough on the hook to catch the kind of fish that you want. And I know from my discussions with some of you, and my colleagues have confirmed, you want somebody of quality. You want somebody of character and somebody that has been, maybe in the chair before and had to make tough decisions in a district like yourselves. And so I think you're going to have to come up from that salary that you're at right now.
So this is not a discussion we need to have here
No.
at this moment?
Are you saying we could have it enclosed?
You can discuss a salary of a specific employee in closed session.
An employee.
Well,
Or a job posting?
Potential.
I think so, yeah.
Tom, you're usually a strong
Yeah.
guy.
Well, the exemption reads the employment, et cetera, compensation of specific employees. So we're talking about a specific position and what we want to pay them. I also think you need to, they're not asking you for a number tonight. I think you need to think of a range more than a number, because a lot of it, the salary you're going to pay somebody is going to depend on years of experience.
Thank you.
So as far as a range is concerned, we've been doing this for like 44 years. We've never used a range. So if you do say in a range of 150 to 175,000, well, everybody's going to want that 175,000. So the wording that we actually use on all of our materials is that the salary will be in the range of one number. So you can say the salary will be in the range of 200,000 or 215,000 plus an excellent and comprehensive benefit package. The final salary for the successful candidate will be negotiated and determined based upon proven experience, qualifications, and meeting board criteria. That way, if you get that rock star superintendent and you have the salary at $210,000, you can go up a little bit for that individual. If you get somebody that's just been an assistant superintendent, has not sat in that big chair and made that decisions, then you can go down a little bit. And by down a little bit, I mean, $2,000, $3,000, something else like that, not $10,000.
The way this is presented.
But that's been our experience. We can certainly do a range for you. I'd say 90% of the districts don't, but just be prepared that you're going to have that high end if you do a range.
But if you put an ad with a number of, say, 200,000, that's the same problem you're going to have with the range. If somebody's going to come in and say, this was at $200,000, you can't pay me $195,000.
You're gonna have to be willing to put or pay that number. I mean, you are.
Can we advertise it as starting at? And then it's within our discretion to give more?
That's effectively what he's saying, is if you...
Excuse me, he kind of, with the statement that he read, intimated that, I
Right.
thought.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, the way I see it is the number they would put out there is sort of the bottom number, base number.
Yeah, we're,
You never go down from that number. You're not gonna,
I don't think
not
you
gonna
would.
hire a new
Yeah. I don't
think you
superintendent and say,
would.
you know what,
Right.
we don't think you're
Yeah, we
worth
said, yeah,
200,
you're
we're
not.
gonna give you
You need to
198.5.
What do you need?
Right.
It's just not gonna happen.
No, it's not going to happen.
normally, no, it doesn't.
When we come back, I don't know the exact date when we come back.
Well, some of the online or some of the online postings require salary information.
Yeah, when we report back to you on your survey results and what we heard from your constituent groups and your open forums, that's the night that we will need it.
The 17th of September.
This September 17th?
That's after.
After.
The day after, or whatever.
Whatever.
In fact, it would be.
9/24 it says, right? That's what
9/24.
finalized, yeah.
I gotta see what paper I'm on.
So this is food for thought. Again, just letting you think about it.
Thanks.
Okay.
Other than that, that
Any other
ends our
questions from
topics of
anybody
discussion.
for our consultants here?
I will let you know that we have had people already call me and call the office about this position, and they had a whole bunch of questions. I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. I said, I haven't even met with the board members yet. So, I'll go ahead and find out what they're looking for and find out what the community is looking for before I can go ahead and tell you that you would be, somebody viable or not. So, but the important thing is there's interest out there. And not within the state of Illinois. These came from outside of the state of Illinois.
Interesting.
State of confusion.
All right,
That's
thank you
state.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I am looking for a motion to approve what we just discussed.
I move that the Board of Education approve the superintendent candidate application, advertising, and communication plan as presented and discussed.
A second?
Any discussion? Jill, call the roll.
Dr. Berry.
Aye.
Mr. Hodge.
Aye.
Ms. Gulay.
Aye.
Mr. Merite.
Aye.
Ms. Beckman-Dowd.
Aye.
Ms. Schreiber.
Aye.
Mr. Chalabi.
Aye.
And motion to go into closed.
I move that the Board of Education adjourn to closed session to discuss student disciplinary matters or other matters pertaining to individual students pending probable or imminent litigation, collective negotiating matters, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees or legal counsel, and the review of closed session minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? Jill, call the roll, please.
Mr. Hodge.
Aye.
Ms. Gulay.
Aye.
Mr. Merite.
Aye.
Ms. Beckman-Dowd.
Aye.
Ms. Schreiber.
Aye.
Mr. Chalabi.
Aye.
Dr. Berry.
Aye.
All right.
Closed session upstairs.
Yeah, where we go?